So I've got the recorder going and this terrible window is right in the middle here. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I sent you minutes from our last meeting. And I don't know if you have had an opportunity to look at them. I'm looking for them on my computer right now. It was pretty brief, I think.
Yes, it was.
Yep.
Because we were expedient, I believe.
Yeah.
And
I was able to go over them. Alden and Mary, were you able to take a look at the minutes?
Yep.
Awesome. Can
So
someone make a motion to approve?
Yep. I make a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting.
Thank you. A second? I'll second them.
okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any discussion? Nope. Alrighty, Daddy. Next item.
Looking around my computer to stream this and get the meeting together, and I've got like 4 different windows on one screen and the WebEx on another screen, and on the agenda we have
Let's see. I got
the reports. I gave you reports.
Yep.
The money is holding out just fine. The service contracts have been taken care of, and one of your pieces of business from last month was saying that profiles of different town departments was a better idea than business. Yep. So in that time, Ryan has produced 2 4 to 5 minute videos. One was an interview with Stephanie Charleglio. I've been trying to play it a lot because it's all about absentee ballot process.
Nice.
And cool. And the one most recently he turned in was an interview of Warren Connors about how public works works.
Very nice.
Those are both up on YouTube as well. And he's looking to interview Mr. Adamovich about recreation.
I'll hit him up. Don't worry. I'll hit him up.
Well, I'm sure he will have no problem getting him to talk. It might be a little bit longer than 5 minutes. We don't know. But those have been wonderful. I managed to get one interview with Jeanette Glicksman to talk about the flu clinics, which are already behind us. I don't think I put that one up on the YouTube because that was more that was more pointed at the senior center population. We find are usually watching television, but in any case, I know the first flu clinic, the drive-through version was completely filled up for reservations about a week before they held it. So, yep, they're getting the word one way or the other. I haven't heard yet about the one past Monday, which was, that's yesterday. Okay, somebody's outside, I can tell. Anyway, so
your flu shot.
Yep. Oh, got my flu shot.
Good.
What else has been happening? We have a lot more meetings, of course. The one thing that I wasn't able to report that I had in mind might be a good idea was the public informational session, the sunflower people, because that fell on the same night as the Congressional 3 debate. They contacted me first asking the League of Women Voters to provide timekeepers. So I did get 2 people who hadn't done it before. One of them was Ryan Anastasio, and the other one is the daughter of a woman at Coldwell Bankers who has been in the Peace Corps in Guinea. And she lives in Woodbridge. So I had the 2 of them, and Channel 8 brought their equipment. Now this is totally aside from art, but this is what kept me from doing the Zoom meeting, and it was cool. And we got to look at 4 cameras in the Vine Auditorium in the JCC, and they gave us this basically a traffic light that was wired to a box so that they could start and stop, and it would go off. It would give them the yellow light when they had 15 seconds to go, and a red light when they were supposed to stop, and it all ran very, very smoothly. Mika, how are you?
Doing well, doing well. How are you? I'm sorry I'm late.
Oh,
Hi,
that's okay.
Mika.
That's
Hello,
okay.
how
Hi,
are you,
Mika.
Teresa? How you doing?
Good.
How's everybody?
Good.
Good.
So far, so good. Anyway, that's all a tangent about why I didn't cover the cell tower information meeting. But I went back and I did find the 2010 siting council hearings that were taking place in the Woodbridge Gym when they put up the cell tower over on Richmond Pike on the Shepherd Farm. So that was my precedent. So, well, if the siting council comes here, of course we will cover them. For TPZ, yeah, the TPZ had one special meeting to help expedite an application for people with business properties on Lucy Street, but they won't do the public hearing for the multifamily housing application. That won't happen until November 30th. So
there's a multi-family application for where is it located?
Orchard Road, and I think that's Orchard and Newton on that corner. That came in last month. Yeah. No, it was formally submitted to the department.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a big deal, but
Very big deal. Yeah.
they're reviewing it carefully, and they've dedicated one night to it. Right before capital budgets and birthday, and so at least that's all on the other side of election day. And it's really hard to think about things next week. So money's holding up. That's good, and that's pretty much all I can say about my reports, unless you have any questions about what I wrote. Okay.
No. I did get a chance to read the coordinator's report. So how many other interviews do you think you going to be able to do, or are people in the town departments receptive to the interview?
I think so. I think Warren was happy to talk to Ryan.
Okay.
For a while, we thought about sending him to talk to Chris Sullivan because the multifamily thing was so interesting. But then I said maybe we better wait until things get quieter, because anything she might say could be taken in a bad way. So so put that one off. So recreation. Why not talk about recreation? That was a good one.
Nothing better than recreation, right? Even though I'm still waiting on my color printer.
Come on, didn't they get a new computer?
Listen, I would take the what are they called, the webcams away just to have a color printer.
Are you at home
Put
or
Tony
at
on it. I'll bring it up again, Teresa.
I'm just kidding. Read them up over it. All right. What about our monthly report?
That's pretty much what I was saying. Like I said, I'm working a little bit more, so there is more money going out on my line.
Right.
Nancy has come in a couple of times to help, usually when we still have several nights of the week when we have regularly overlapping and she can't always make it just at the transition point when we really need another set of hands, but it can be helpful to have her there when she can make it. I forgot this. The congressional food debate, the woman who had been a Peace Corps member in Guinea has a younger sister who is interested in videography. So there's going to be a connection with somebody who and I hope to do that soon.
Good. Do we need to make a motion to approve the meeting dates? Yes?
Yes, that would be good to get out of the way. It's one of those things that would be good to do before the holidays hit us, and because our next meeting is.
So I'm looking at them right now, and I don't see, the only thing I see, I don't see them putting any holiday.
Where did I put them?
There's no conflicts with Passover or Yom Kippur or Rosh Hashanah. I don't see any conflicts with
Not even.
Easter, so that's good. I think the only thing that we have here that we kind of do if it's needed is the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, which usually I am assuming everyone should probably be around, and we'll probably keep it short.
You must have come from outside, Teresa.
Oh, I'm inside.
You're inside. Well, somebody came in from outside. We had some.
So it's a lot nicer.
No, I'm not out. I'm inside.
Oh, okay, good.
I'm in the office with the door shut, so you don't hear the kids.
Hi.
And the only one I see is after Memorial Day, but we can kind of come across that bridge when we get there. So I don't see any problems. So if I could have a motion to approve the minutes.
Oh, we did approve the minutes. You want to approve the meeting dates?
You want to approve
the dates. I'm sorry.
The schedule. You want to approve
That's
the
it.
schedule.
Yeah, I apologize.
And do you want to approve all those dates? I mean, there's that period between February and April when we normally don't meet, and then the summer.
Yeah, we can approve them because we can always, cancel them or adjust them as needed.
Okay. And we'll stick with 7:30? Is that?
That's fine with me.
Okay.
Yeah,
if it's good with
fine with
everyone
me.
Okay.
Is it okay with you, Pua?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Alden, is it okay with you?
Yep, fine with me.
Okay.
Okay, it's the sound of traffic. It's the sound of traffic we've been hearing.
Yeah.
All right, so motion to approve dates for Government Access TV Commission meeting dates. Motion to approve. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. Any discussion? All right, Golden. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Provisionally, it is a little soon, but just in case we have trouble meeting in the next 2 months, I sent that one page that's sort of the summary of an operating budget for us, because the only thing that really changes is salary lines. The big boards were very generous and gave us an increased line for the for other staff besides the coordinator, and then we have this pandemic where I'm afraid to hire anybody and bring somebody new into the town hall. But
so equipment wise, because we're doing all these all these recordings we're doing through WebEx, these are being our cloud-based recordings.
We did get an extra laptop, so I can do that when I do them from town hall. It's easier to do it with an extra laptop in the room next to the big
good.
TriCaster. So we do have extra, we have enough laptops that I could do 2 meetings at a time. So
my question is, do they have enough juice that it's not starting to hang stuff up and things aren't starting to freeze?
Well, one reason to do it in town hall is that I can bring an ether cable in, and it's hardwired either way.
Okay.
A lot of the freezing is because everybody's decides they're depending on the magic of their wireless, which
and also they should be, if they're not speaking, ideally they should be muting their visual and their audio.
Right.
That would help big time.
Yeah.
Maybe
like
we can
right now, I'm the only person on the screen right now.
Yeah.
Okay. This is going to be fascinating for the TV audience. Uh,
I joined you last time.
you did, and you were beautiful, Teresa. Okay, here's an idea in the way of equipment, and it really, all the really good ideas in the way of equipment can be covered by the annual grant from the Cable Advisory Council, at least until, I don't know, something happens legislatively to kill it. Going back to closed captioning, there was a free webinar recently, and I had talked with this guy before. He gives advice to different towns and outfits about what they can do within their budget to make closed captioning happen, especially if they're doing governmental meetings, because the FCC says you should especially do that because otherwise you're not being fully open to your ADA community. Right? I mentioned this at the Cable Advisory Council, and Ron Davis shrugged and said, oh, nobody's asking us for closed captioning. They asking you, Cablevision? No. Well, then why should we have to do it? But it seems like it would be a service for people with hearing difficulties. And
Yes.
I'm getting closer and closer to that age group. So it seems like a good idea. The easiest way to do it would be to take up the subscription from Telview, who makes the broadcast server for us, and you know, sends all our programming down to Cablevision. They have a means, if you're subscribed to some of their cloud services, where they give you a Roku channel and other things that I don't know that anybody needs. It also ties into a Watson voice recognition system so that it can produce automatically the closed captions for you. And then I think we would be able to download that program with the captioning encoded. And technically we should be able to send it to Cablevision. But in the meantime, one of the converters between our equipment and the Cablevision modulators, where it's eventually sent down the line to Norwalk, apparently strips that coding. So I have to look into it, and I've been meaning to get something to replace the 20-plus-year-old modulators that are in there. I pitched that question at the Cablevision representative, and she said she would ask, and I never heard from her.
So hold on. So they said to you that, and I know about this. So you send it over to them, and it removes it. So, and
it's one of the little boxes in our room.
Right.
It's very simple. It takes a transport stream and it turns it into analog for us.
Correct.
Because Cablevision still works with analog.
Correct. So the real fact about that is some of their channels are closed caption, some are not. And that's just the way it is. You could have the Discovery Channel. I'm just throwing that one out there as an example. And if they don't have it as closed caption, it doesn't matter what settings you have on your TV, it's not going to close caption. And it does not matter what they have embedded into their video for closed caption, it is not going to view closed captioning.
So, okay. So it's a matter of what Cablevision is eventually sends to Woodbridge.
Correct. So it doesn't, you could have the best piece of equipment in the entire world for it and have it encrypted into it, and you could send it over to them. And if their channel does not support closed captioning, that channel is not going to display the closed captioning.
Okay.
And not all of their channels, even if they're analog, support the closed captioning. It just doesn't.
Well, all their intervals, all the channels are digital when they come out of Cablevision now, right?
Correct. They're air quotes digital. But the thing is, not all of them are supported. I've worked with cases where people wanted every single channel to have closed captioning, and the basic answer to that question was as far up as, as possibly known to go was we just don't do all the channels and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't
Okay.
have to either.
So shall I just drop that idea?
Well, I mean, the thing is, if we're
No.
going to invest money into it, we first need to make sure our channel is supported. So when you were speaking to the rep, were you speaking to someone that you just call into the line, or were you speaking to a direct service rep?
No, I was speaking to the woman who represents Cablevision at the council.
Okay, because not to knock any of their knowledge, but they may not, they just may not have the answer or may not know who to ask.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing.
I just realized my audio is not going to go into. Here we go. At existing. I just realized my mic was not live. It's not bouncing now either. So anything I say right now, it's not going to go into the recording. Anyway, okay. It'll be on the WebEx recording, I think. Oh, let's find out. Well, okay. So that was one idea I had for, but it would be in the grant. It wouldn't necessarily be in any budget that we submit to the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
So let me hop in for a moment to talk a little bit more about closed captioning options, because this is a thing we've been dealing with a bit where I work as well. There's a growing number of services being made available that will close caption your recordings after you've made them. Doing them on the fly is the expensive part. There's, for example, there's Rev, which is what we've been using at CHC, and they will close caption a video for you for, I think their charge is like 50 cents to $1 per minute. And, it's just, you send them a video and a day later they send you the SRT file, which is a closed captioning. And
Right.
this could be useful for whether or not you end up having the captioning working with Cablevision. You could have the captions available for when it's on YouTube.
Yes.
There's another service, which is, I think it's UBI, which will do it live, but you run into some complications there. And it's also worth noting that a new video streaming service just recently started called Vowel, which will do live captioning of every video meeting you ever do. That's still just it's sort of like an early release, but it illustrates that there's a real movement towards captioning for all video meetings. And with that move, I expect the options are going to we'll have much more options, which will have more functionality at a lower price. So I just want all of those things out on the table.
Okay. I know that YouTube has stopped automatically captioning a lot of our stuff. I think if I upload something that hasn't yet been on TV and I click a box and say this has never been shown with captions on television, then they'll put captions on them. But since we simulcast almost everything we do, I can't honestly say that. So I've let it be for a while. Okay, I guess we should keep thinking about captioning if everybody's agreeable with that. It seems like a service.
This is Mary. I think it's worth checking into, definitely.
I think it's important that what we're offering is available to everyone in the community, regardless of, of what you need to do, or content needs to be available to everybody.
Exactly. That's the idea.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I don't know if you want to look over that draft budget narrative I sent out, and maybe that's the one thing we can talk about in November.
Let me see, I actually had it up.
Basically, yeah, I played with the numbers, just sort of guessing how many hours I might be spending in a year, assuming I keep going for another year. I kind of feel like it. And not raising the hourly rate, which was done between the last draft schedule and the time the budget was approved. So it looks like it's going up, but
Okay, so
I'm looking for an
F21
stuff.
adopted was 26, projected was 30,
Mhm.
proposed was 27. Okay.
Okay. The one thing that's really going down, obviously nobody's going to any conferences.
Mhm.
The one workshop that I paid for was really the only one that I thought made sense about small operations. And the two examples they had were City of Pasco, Washington, where they said, well, when we need help covering meetings, we hire a outside professional production company. I'm going, okay, that's not my solution. That's very nice. I'm glad you can do that. The idea of what counts as a small operation, I find kind of surprising. If things go back to something like normal, they're planning the national conference in Washington D.C. on at the end of June, beginning of July, and it would be nice to go to that conference that should have happened this fall. Obviously, they had to cancel that. I think they'll have their video festival first week of December, and it will be virtual. So, not a lot of ways to spend money there.
Yeah, the video festival, is that something that you have to pay to participate in?
Probably not. Just
Okay.
register ahead of time for it.
Okay.
They'll probably try to think of some way to make some money, because all nonprofits need to keep going somehow. But I haven't heard yet. Let's see, our service contract on the Telview, the broadcast server, is good for 3 years. So we only have to think about an annual contract for the TriCaster in the big room, in the main meeting room. And that's the same as it was before. So it is more or less a zero growth budget. There are ways to cut back, I suppose, if we don't, if we really can't find a way to hire more people besides myself. That would be one way to cut back.
I know I always sound like this every single time, so I apologize if I sound like a broken record, but I feel that if we have a lot going on, meeting wise, even though it's now remote, but we have the cell phone tower coming down the pike. We have a lot probably is going to be happening with planning and zoning.
And there are elections in May too, but that's this year.
So I think we're where we are is a very conservative view, and I think it's an appropriate view with also everything that could potentially or is going to happen commission and meeting wise in this town.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any thoughts on that?
So, the thing that comes to my mind is that I am going to guess that we will continue doing everything virtually for quite a while yet. But who have made a comment earlier on about what happens when there's multiple meetings at the same time? which got me to think, can we have somebody assist PUA, working from home, making sure that the meeting is recorded, that it gets edited, what have you. It's a different skill set than a camera person.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm wondering if we should be thinking about people working on developing those skill sets so that we can either cover meetings when there's multiple meetings at the same time, or when PUA is indisposed for whatever reason.
Right. Now, does that person, and that's a group, does that person use their own computer? Would they pick up a computer from town hall? Is that, are we compensating them for using their own computer? And if they are picking up a computer from town hall, which is fine, we can leave it in a designated area, which I'm assuming, that means, do we have enough computers if we need that person to cover? I would be assuming that we'd be providing them with a computer, and if that's the case, maybe we need to look into getting another laptop.
A laptop that would do the job could be gotten for under $2,000.
Right.
So in the larger scheme of things, it's not that big an expense.
Right.
And I think another thing would be people have to stop promising, except for the really important meetings, they have to stop promising that it's going to be on TV and YouTube at the same time. It'll be easier to just record it and then get it up later.
Correct. Correct.
So far, that's not been so bad. Oh, Coopop is probably going to be moving their meetings to the same night as Recreation Commission. For what that's worth, but that's partly because Laura Fernandez couldn't get anybody to take over as chairman for her, so she's doing that at the same night as Woodbridge Board of Ed, which talk about being in two places at once. I cannot compare. I cannot compare.
So I think that is something we need to look into, and that's an excellent point of view there. We need to look into potentially having another person. Do you have anybody in mind who's ideally already on payroll and also needs to be able to do direct deposit?
Well, Ryan would be ideal, but he's supposed to be in college, and I think just putting together the little interviews is more than enough work for him.
Plus, I snagged him for the pool, so.
And he's doing the pool as well.
Yeah.
We're lucky he can't go to college. I mean, it could be next year if things go well. He will be down at George Washington, and
Yeah.
and we'll really have to grow up and find somebody else. But I just noticed my picture is frozen now. I wonder what I'm saying at that point. Well, anyway.
Might be an option for somebody who is interested in getting involved in this on a smaller scale. A lot of people are very comfortable with this kind of format. And that might be something that interests them. So I mean, that is something we definitely need to think about, especially with all the meetings that are potentially going to be coming up.
Sure.
And I think it's worth remembering that we also get around the issue that we've had of high school kids needing to arrange transportation, or it has to be somebody who lives nearby or stuff like that. If it's somebody who's recording the meeting and editing it, that could be done kind of anywhere.
That's right.
Yep. I'm trying to think.
Well, maybe that's something I go to Southern again for, saying we're interested in people doing video work, but at this time it's mostly teleconferencing and recording meetings. And then there's I have at least one share folder on a Google Drive, which is how Ryan gets his work to me. If it's somebody who's interested in editing anyway, which would mean improving what audio we could capture on any one meeting, and maybe putting identifying information on the video, like the name of the commission or the board. If somebody's going to be more into computers, if they're interested in the editing side of videography, video production. So those might be the people that we could get.
And I think from a skills perspective, again, at least for the next year or so, that's probably going to be a skill that's going to be in greater demand.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So do you want to put, as far as the budget goes, do you want to try and meet in November to make a final recommendation, or it could be we have a meeting at the second week of December as well, if you didn't want to crowd your Thanksgiving week?
How does everyone's schedule look, or how is it going on for that week? I would be fine. Obviously, I'm not, I'm at home, so it's up to everybody else. I don't know what your plans are for that.
Well, we're not planning on any big family get-togethers anytime soon in my family.
Yeah.
And the other thing is my Tuesday evening commitment, at least right now, looks like it will last as long as the pandemic goes.
Okay. Are you sure you don't want to reconsider the meeting dates?
Well, Alden, would a better day of the week work better for you?
Yeah.
It might be that I could find one that would work a little bit better, but my life right now, every day is complicated.
Okay.
Okay. So, Mary, is there any days of the week that work better for you?
No, I'm okay. Mine
Okay.
is more just making sure I get the reminder.
Okay. Well, let's see. I don't know if we are, I think are we allowed to, or is that still technically a meeting question? Sending out reaching out to Toby and asking him if there's any other dates that would work for him. Is that something we can ask
if you're going to,
outside of the meeting?
if you figure you have to meet one more time anyway to formally approve a budget submission.
Yeah, let's ask him. Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can ask him, and I won't turn in any list of meetings to the town clerk until after we talk to Toby.
Okay.
Okay.
Everyone's okay with that?
Yeah.
Teresa,
Yeah.
you probably have to, you do need to vote on whatever you vote on is what you have to turn into the town clerk, Pua.
Right.
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 By January.
Yes.
Okay.
We are going to turn that in.
Okay.
But we can turn it in. But we can also maybe add it on to the next meeting agenda of can we re-review the dates?
So you want me to turn it into the town clerk, but bless you.
Well,
But if you change your mind at the next one, I can turn in a revised list. Maybe?
yeah, because we already voted on them.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And I want, even though he's not here, I want to still see maybe a different day, because I know Alden's schedule is constantly changing. And if there's a better day that works for Toby, then we at least still have a quorum.
Right.
So that's why we can always, I don't think he's going to say a different date, but I can't speak for him.
Right.
So we can always then send a revised media agenda, and we can always add it onto the next meetings, have it on for the agenda for a topic to discuss, to see if there's any revisions that need to be made. But since we
Okay.
voted on it, we still have to submit it.
Okay.
I don't think he's gonna say there's any dates that work better, but you never know.
We'll see. Okay. That is all the business I have for you
Okay.
today. You are, of course, allowed to add anything else you deem necessary.
Anybody else has any comments, questions, or concerns?
Teresa, I wanted to bring up to the committee, there's been discussion in the past, it's not for today's meeting because it wasn't on the agenda.
Mhm.
If you consider maybe on the next agenda, some discussion as to whether or not we continue with GATV as a commission the way it's established now, or is there or should there be consideration to consider it more as a department within town and fall under Tony?
So that's
It's
funny that you mentioned that, because that conversation was had. I've been on this, I've actually been on this commission since I was 18.
That's
I'm
pretty
not even
excellent.
joking. Before it was even a commission, when it was an ad hoc committee.
Right.
And we've had that discussion a couple times in my years that I've been on this ad hoc / committee / everything else in between. And that is something I think we need to discuss and bring up at our next meeting agenda. I think right now we're operating pretty productively and pretty thoroughly as a commission. I think we're very conservative on our choices. Of course, you don't want to add any more work to people who are already working very hard for us every day. But I think that is something we should definitely bring up and discuss over our next meeting.
Appreciate it.
So, yeah, even having been on just for a little while, relatively speaking, I've been through this same discussion several times as well. And, I guess there's a few different thoughts that I think it would be helpful to have, which is, one is, what do other municipalities do? And what is it that we're trying to do, either by having it as a commission or by changing it to no longer be a commission? So I think those are important questions that need to be considered.
Correct.
Okay.
So let's make sure we have that on the next meeting's agenda. Of course, let's all try to make sure we, definitely try our hardest to attend next meeting if we even speak about that. And I think that'll be a good thing to speak to at the next meeting, so we have a little bit more time, and also gives us an opportunity to think about exactly the questions, and also maybe just do a little bit of research on what other towns, not saying that we have to copy them. Actually, we were one of the original OGs, like us in Orange. So, and I remember when I would go to Orange Town Hall and sit there with Milford and Stratford and Orange, and I was Woodbridge, and they were always asking, even though we started out with a couple handheld cameras and some of Pua's duffel bags that I'm pretty sure had her name still written inside of them, what we were doing. So I think it's important for us to do some research, have some thought over it, and we'll bring it up as one of the main topics at our next meeting.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Yep.
Sounds good.
And I would suggest, Pua, it may be worth seeing what's sort of the general thinking throughout the ACM.
Throughout ACM, the majority of members are nonprofit organizations outside of government, providing service to the government.
Okay, interesting. And what about, the West Hartford or the channels that you deal with here? Are those mostly nonprofits, or where's government channels fit in there?
West Hartford is a 3-channel nonprofit within the town. Wallingford is directly under the direction of the mayor. And there's good. Okay, here's the thing. Under Tony, it could remain, okay, a lot of it is about appearance, appearing nonpartisan. And I mentioned this to Beth. In Wallingford and in Trumbull, there have been instances where it's directly under the mayor or the first selectman, and it becomes a tool of that particular person.
Yeah.
And I don't think Woodbridge wants this. It seems really unlikely that it would ever happen. But part of the ability of the mayor or the first selectman to do that is because of the way the channel is put together.
Sounds like when we have the discussion, it sounds like
Yeah.
we've got a lot of interesting considerations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I think before we go any deeper into it, because then it'll have, I'm almost about to say, let's take a vote to add it, right? But I want everyone to take some time to really think about it and do some research here. So I think before we go any further, this might be something, if we talk about it any deeper, that we might need to add it to the agenda for this meeting. So, I would think right now we really think about the topic, do some research on it, and have it chiseled out as a decent portion of the time for the agenda topic for the next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I concur with that. And the reason I was asking those questions was not so much for us to discuss them now, but as stuff for us to be researching.
Yes, to think about. I agree with you. Yeah.
I'd be happy to
that
provide
being
contact information for the people I know.
Yes, and
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, if you have time, please do some research on it. Pua, if you look into other towns to see what channels and which direction they're going into with things like this, see how other towns are doing. I think a good town to also look at is Orange. Yep. And things like that, and also Milford and Stratford, and go forward from there.
Stratford turned everything over to Soundview.
Yeah, I know.
But
yeah. So let's add that to the next meeting agenda. I think it's something for us to spend some time on, and definitely try everyone to make time next month for that meeting so we can discuss that.
sounds like it could go over into other months too.
Yes.
But,
Yeah.
okay.
We'll see. Besides that, can I have a motion to adjourn? Unless anybody has anything else. All right. Can I get a?
I'll second.
Thank you. Well, no discussion being said. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
And
Aye.
everybody have a great and safe Halloween. Don't forget that truck or treat. All right.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Everyone be safe. And if anyone needs anything, please feel free to reach out to each other. If you need to know anything COVID tested related, we know who to talk to.
Yep.
Reach out to Alton, but everyone please stay safe and wear your mask.
Yes, ma'am.
amen. Thanks,
Yeah.
Teresa.
All right.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.